There's such a parallel here between what the occult world is preaching and essentially what we're trying to do in our Protestant churches.
We have to get ready. And I really hope stuff like this can shake people out of it, knowing that while they're sitting around, this meeting is happening. They've been holding this meeting since 1425. And for some reason, this one is the last one on the books. Alice Bailey, a co-Freemason, was a key figure in Theosophy and New Age thought.
Many of them do not know that they're involved with. You are opening up doors that you are not going to be able to shut on your own. This is like the entire world ready to wander after the beast.
The crazy thing for me as a former New Ager, I thought that we kind of all made up our own truth.
We hear it a lot. It's like, don't talk about doctrine, just talk about the love of Jesus. Right there is Lucifer's prophet, Alice Bailey, telling you the very same thing.
They're getting ready for someone to show up.
It is very much a tyrannical system, a system which you and I didn't make a choice in, but that they're trying to lead the world in.
Hi, and welcome to our Bible study channel.
Energy. Energy. You cannot fuck with this. Energy. You cannot fuck with this energy. Love to do those in the steps. All of those who are listening. Don't miss the message, judging you. You cannot fuck with this energy. Energy.
These are videos that go pretty in depth. First thing you should probably do is pause and read our 12 rules for reading biblical text. And if you don't like the 12 rules or you don't understand the 12 rules, well, I don't have time to explain them all. Go back to the book that I wrote and uploaded on this channel, which takes you through the entire arc and how we made these quote-unquote 12 rules as a framework of what we found after 7 years digging meticulously and carefully through the text. So if you're confused, go do that. If I refer back, well, that's probably because we actually post these things in order. So they're all done in series. And if you jump in at the middle of a series without any schema or background knowledge, and you get all pissed off, well, that's also not our problem. This is a group where we go line by line, scroll by scroll through the text. Warning, we are not language sensitive, so if you can't handle some cussing, it's not the place for you. We also do not endorse nor approve of pretty much any mainstream theology. So if you're looking for that, also definitely not the place for you. We do a video about the characters that we use in our Bible study series. And the reason we do this is sort of so that they can kind of get in your head. So we do have a video explaining why we chose the people we chose and how their sort of energy characteristics go along with the biblical characters to modernize it for people so they know what the heck we're reading. Clearly, the Roman Church was not doing their job and looking for the lost sheep of the reunited House of David. So that's what we're doing, okay? We're taking that away from them because they screwed it up. The brilliant rabbis also down there in Babylon are also not looking for the lost sheep of the reunited kingdom of David. So you're not going to hear, let's follow Rome. And you're not going to hear, let's follow the rabbis on this channel. Because, you know, sorry, not sorry, but the Bible wasn't actually written for the corrupt Levitical priesthood post-Babylon and Persia to read it through their little janky books. And it also wasn't written to be read through the eyes of pagan 4th century church fathers. So we're not doing that either. You guys can both have a seat. Oddly enough, the Bible also wasn't written to be read through the eyes of some dumbass scholars with pieces of paper that say they're smarter than everyone, but have never seen a Davidic covenant in their life. Not written for them either. You know who it's written for? It's written for the reunited house of David, who are actually in covenant and are actually the sheep. That's who it's written for. That's why nobody else can understand what the heck's going on. What you are going to hear is what you're supposed to hear, which is, let's follow the king. And let's get started.
So, we are going to war.
Yes. Well, I hope you don't see me in my ragged company.
What the hell can I do for you?
I know you think you're the queen of the underground.
In the door like a big boy. I am so proud.
Send me dead flowers every morning.
I care about my people. I don't want to just march them into the line of fire because I want to play my dick is bigger than yours. It is. We both know it.
And I won't forget to put roses on your grave.
I'm sorry.
You're following Paul's light in the desert. That's not the son of David.
I was willing to work with you. All you had to do was follow a few very simple rules.
Your savior, Paul, with his little light show in the desert, taught that it's okay to eat food sacrificed in idol temples.
Now I see that you've got to go. Scorched earth, you dick!
Well, let's go back to the first century, guys. First century occult, that's called tableship covenant or tableship fellowship. Sharing a meal is coming into covenant. So the demons that inhabit the idols in those temples, they used to have rituals. They would do blood rituals. They would do sex magic. They do all sorts of janky shit to summon the demons to go into the idols, kind of like the Annabelle doll, okay? And then they would sacrifice the food to the idols in the temple and then eat in tableship covenant with those demons. What the hell? And Paul said that's okay. James said it wasn't in Acts. Paul said it was okay all through his letters. As long as you're strong, it's okay. It depends on your conscience. Blah, 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 blah. Don't worry about it. Eat the fucking Moloch meat. And then Jesus comes back in Revelation and tells you not to do it 3 fucking times. Well, what do you think happens to those covenants? You think they magically just disappear when the whole church is following the entity that taught you to make covenants with frickin' demons? You think those covenants just go away? Or do you think maybe they get slapped onto kids, babies, during their baptism? What do you think? Because I'll tell you what I think. I had an infant baptism. I didn't play with a Ouija board. I didn't knowingly make covenants with demons. Okay, I didn't play with janky shit. I wasn't doing anything. I was a little baby girl, 3 years old, and I was being attacked and astral kidnapped. I wasn't sleeping. This wasn't night terrors. I actually used theta waves. Okay, so they do the frequency, your theta wave, they paralyze the body, and then they would suck me out of my body and yank me and kidnap me. Abduct me into the astral realm and then beat the holy living shit out of me and scare the hell out of me. And this happened to me for 48 years, starting at first memory. Please tell me how I was a baptized, quote unquote, Christian, and that happened to me. I should have been, under their logic, I should have been protected. I didn't play with the Ouija board. My parents weren't Freemasons. I wasn't being abused. There was no ritual abuse. There was no playing with the occult. I was a sealed little girl, age of 3, nothing janky in my family. Explain to me how demons breached that contract. Because it was a false contract. I was out as soon as I took that baptismal covenant at infant, even though I didn't agree. I had no free will. I didn't agree. But I was initiated. They don't think of baptism as initiation. It is. I was initiated into a kingdom of Rome, of Roman authority, of Trinitarian authority, of Paul's light in the desert, that authority. I was now committed and initiated into the Christian authority, which means I was not in the jurisdiction of the son of David.
Well, shit.
So you've left an opening for all of these entities to come and attack you, right?
Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night. In the dark of the months of the adolescent pumps his way to his night. With a boulder on my shoulder, feeling kinda older, I travel the merry-go-round. With his flurry of pleasing, sneezing and wheezing, let me crash to the ground. Now Scott with a slingshot blind, they found a tender spot over in the sand. As a bloodshot, forget me not the panties within it, to take the bloodshot turn of the band. Some say they go sister with the manager, mister. Me, I got what it takes. She said I thought you were funny, but something's wrong. She got down, but she never got touch. She's gonna make it through the night.
I wonder what happened to her. None of this shit's fair, kid. Ergo, we need someone in charge who's willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that shit doesn't happen. Oh, wait. That's me.
Full legal authority, under the blood, and in the name of the mighty Jesus Christ. And you don't get to tell me where I go and don't go. When you rebelled from heaven, you guys fucked up.
Remove.
They think they're calling on the son of David, but they're calling on another contract. So what I was doing when I'm throwing out those growlers is I'm legally, the only kingdom that is legally recognized is the reunited house of David that you find in Jeremiah, in that covenant. And I'm giving them the opportunity. I'm throwing out the growlers saying, you no longer, I come in with jurisdiction, legal jurisdiction now. And we're taking control and we're throwing out the growlers. Now, human being that I just worked on, now let me teach you about how that happened. That happened with the son of David, which is not Magic Christmas Jesus. So you can either re-establish the covenants in your denomination and keep going that way. And doors probably going to you're refiling with the same demons I just threw out, okay? Or you can go to New Age and file your paperwork in that kingdom. Good luck. Or you can come over and cross over and do something else, which is to join into covenant in the Davidic kingdom and have legal authority in the house of David. That's what's happening when you're hearing these growlers get thrown out on my videos. That's the process. Now, some people follow over and join the kingdom of David, and they're doing great. Some people are like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to burn some sage. And like, they don't listen. They don't study. They don't join the new kingdom because they think they're right. They're like, oh, I'm a Christian, and she used the name Jesus, so it must be the same kingdom. No, I'm trying to teach you a whole different kingdom here, and I gave you evidence, but they don't listen long enough. Because since they were a little kid, they've been taught magical Christmas Jesus, pagan Roman Jesus. I'm already doing that. I must be good. Well, that growler she threw out must have been an anomaly. And they're not listening long enough to realize it's a different kingdom. And then I'm telling them, no, that's a different kingdom. We have to get wisdom here. Let's learn. Let's study together. Let's gain wisdom so you can make a conscious choice as to what kingdom makes sense to you. And they don't get that far. They don't get that far because there's the Ephraim arrogance. We already know this. We've already heard the gospel. I was baptized when I was a child. I don't need to rebaptize in this kingdom of David thing. That sounds like heresy. You're teaching against Paul? Oh, you're the devil. I'm staying over here with Paul and his light show in the desert. Okay. then you're back in the same jurisdiction you were to begin with. I'm over here in the legal jurisdiction. Then why is it that I can throw growlers out and you can't? Why is that? Because we're calling on two different Jesuses. We're calling on the Son of David Jesus over here, and you're calling on magical sperm, pagan Roman Christmas Jesus over there. Not the same guy. You chose that. That's your kingdom now. Enjoy. And don't come back to my kingdom and try to tell me what the rules are. If you're following our series, I need you to know that our private study group, we also do a Meet Bile series. That understanding the different gods, goddesses, occult piece, and the thinking historically that went into the creation of these false gods. We also do a demon meat segment, and I think I got a lot of those out about, eating meat in idol temples. I put some of that in there.
Choking on the blood in the mighty name of Jesus Christ.
Did you hear that? He said, suck my nuts. We own that fucking door. You try to fucking stop us, we will fucking knock that fucker down.
But we're going all around the world and preaching the gospel. Yeah, the gospel of the dude with the light show in the desert who was doing black occult. You think that's good? Now I'm going to bitch slap you. But that's how they don't see it that way, because they see themselves as correct. So just be nice. And if someone thinks different than us and quote unquote believes, you're in a whole different kingdom and you're trying to tell me what sin is? You're not even in my kingdom. You're following the Easter egg dude. You are literally running around with bunnies and eggs. And you're going to tell me who's demonic and satanic and has idols and isn't teaching properly and isn't speaking properly? You're the bunny dude. Like, what do you want from me? Like, why? Who the hell are you to judge me, bunny guy? Like, seriously? Maybe that's the rules in your kingdom with hidden fertility cult eggs. Your fertility cult? Maybe that's the rules over there. That's not my covenant. So don't come in here and admonish me. That's not love. I thought you said, do whatever you want. We have 50,000 denominations. I'm supposed to do whatever I want? Well, whatever I want happens to be reading what's actually in the Bible. That's what I want. They don't like that. They don't want to do that. They don't want you to know what's in their Bible. We also did a Mayhem series, which goes through the entire history of the edits and the redactions and the war between James and Saul of Tarsus and Jerome and Rufinus and the Didache. Like we go everywhere really deeply. We look at the homilies and recognitions and how that was edited. And so, we go deeply through that piece of the historical edits by Rome. So we've got that background knowledge. A lot of that in there. So if you've seen those, you got it. We also did, what other series do we have? Like we have a lot. So there's a lot of things. There's also a Trinity. Actually, it's not the Trinity. Excuse me. We call it Logos on trial, where we're putting the Logos on trial. We analyze it in the Greek. We go through first. I mean, there's a lot there, okay, that's still coming on the public channel, but that we have in our understanding before we did Luke. So you might be watching Luke and not have a lot of these hanging questions and hanging threads that you're like, wait, that doesn't sound right. So I'll throw something out like, well, we know that Jerome edited this. And you're like, how do we know that? Well, it's because we already did that in Mayhem. I just haven't put that series up. Because what we're trying to do is get you to the meat. So if you hear me say Rufinus burned a bunch of shit, please go out into the world, do your research, figure it out, look up Rufinus. You're going to run into Faustus and Augustine's argument about the genealogy and blah, 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 blah. There's a whole thing, right? We do that thing in other series. We just haven't dropped those yet. So if you hear me generalizing or summarizing or using hyperbole, okay, one thing Christians love to do is I'll say something like, Constantine and his minions are running around burning shit. And they'll come back and say, no, Constantine didn't burn anything. Whatever. I'm not going through the whole freaking history with you. Watch the Mayhem series. But just because 500 million people say yes, doesn't mean the kingdom is correct, doesn't mean the kingdom is justified, and doesn't mean the kingdom's even valid. They're faking that they have jurisdiction because they have majority. Well, the majority of people say this is correct, so it must be correct. No, still out. There could be one single person standing there not consenting, and they could be in the correct kingdom. That's Noah. It was why Jesus' wisdom is why Jesus spoke in parables. I've got preachers out there in churches trying to explain Jesus' parables. It wasn't written for you, Christians. You know why you can't understand Jesus' parables? Because the Bible wasn't written for Christians. The Bible wasn't written for Jews. Neither of you can understand what Jesus is saying. So they avoid him and they talk about Paul. Unfortunately, we haven't posted that yet because we're trying to get you to the big picture and letting you follow those yourself. That's why we did the book. Okay, so if you need to know who the heck Rufinus is, or who Jerome is, or who Philo of Alexandria is, or who Cerinthus is, you can go and figure that out, or you can go back to the book that we read on this channel, right? And get the overview so we can keep moving forward. But I'm not going to go back and kiss Christians' ass and educate them while I'm debating them. I can't educate you and debate you at the same time. So you're either going to go find the information or you're going to shut up and wait till we show you the information. Because there are so many rabbit holes, we can't possibly feed it all to people immediately. You're going to have a certain amount of faith and a certain amount of work and a certain amount of shit you have to do and figure out to put it together, okay? Because we're not spoon feeding people. Let's be clear. Is we built a bunch of Rothschild-funded seminaries, and they're like, just go out and teach this, good enough. They don't understand it because they're not in covenant, so they have zero wisdom, and they're just saying all kinds of stupid shit and arguing into 50,000 denominations. Why? Because none of them are in the right covenant, therefore none of them are getting wisdom. That's what you're seeing. Oh, well, our God said this. Well, your God is not this God. So why are you blaming him? You think God's just going to go out of jurisdiction and go, okay, everybody, you made all these false covenants with all these other gods, and I'm just going to roll up, trespass on your consent to something else, and drag you back home. That's not how God works. It's called free will. You want those gods? Christmas, Easter, Jesus people, have those gods. Good luck. But don't blame the house of David when your ass isn't protected by those gods. Okay? Loving your neighbor as yourself doesn't mean kissing their ass and letting them get away with anything. Whatever they want, do what thou will. Do what thou will. You think that's loving your neighbor? Or do you think loving your neighbor is bitch slapping them when they do something stupid? Hey, dipshit. You're over there following Christmas Jesus? That's the wrong guy. That's not nice. Well, hey, I'm loving my neighbor by telling you you're a fucking dipshit. What do you want from me? Everyone wants to join their own kingdom and then blame Jesus' father for the outfall. I'm sorry, you signed another contract, dude. We can go in and override that contract from the house of David, but you're going to have to wait in line and be processed like you're moving kingdoms. So we got to check your passport. We got to sever all your old paperwork. We got to stop those old contracts. We've got to claim jurisdiction. We've got to give you free will and choice. We have to educate you about the laws of this kingdom. Like there's a whole lot of shit that's going on. Rather than just say Jesus. You see that now? You see that now? We're going to abandon you. If you want to join, you can join. But don't just accept, don't just blame, the son of David, King Jesus. Don't blame his God for your God's janky shit. You are not kindergarten Christians. No one's righteous, not even one. Just be an ABC salvation and go to your little Calvary chapel and just like believe some shit. Like that's not what we're doing. So we are very, very thorough on this channel. Very thorough. And that takes time. We're building schema and background. So if I throw something out and you want to argue with me, I'm going to freaking hammer you with it. House of David jurisdiction, when the judge sits in the house of David. The judge doesn't sit in the kingdom of the Vatican. The judge doesn't sit in the house of the megachurch. The judge doesn't sit in the astral kingdom of the Pleiades people. That's not where the judge comes from. The jurisdictional judge of all judges and the king of all kings is in the Davidic kingdom. That's where the legal place is. Your kingdoms might feel good. They might tell you things. You might have people that believe the same thing as you. But jurisdictionally, where Hasatan the accuser is involved, and you're in the judgment, the only legal bloodline, scroll line system is the David system. That's the king of all kings, lord of all lords, kingdom of all kingdoms. So whatever you built over here, it's not the same system. And the legal override of Jesus' father is the one that counts, based on their fidelity to the reunited kingdom of David or not. There it is. There it is.
So, we are going to war.
You ready? You okay?
Nobody knows what to do.
So be very careful. Be very careful. Just because you're not seeing it in one video doesn't mean it's not there and that we're not coming back with more. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
Does anybody in this room know what to do different when the heightened state of awareness goes from yellow to orange? No, you do not. Because it is useless. It means nothing. Nobody knows what to do different if it changes from one to the other. Here's the Ron White heightened state of awareness system. It's only got 2 heightened states of awareness. Go find a helmet. Put on the damn helmet.